Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about how to choose the right country to study abroad in. So when I say studying abroad, I mean going as an international student, like studying the whole stretch of the 4 or 5 years if you're going for bachelor's, or 2 years or a year if you're going for your master's. So I'm not talking about the one where you go for one semester and then come back. No, I'm talking about like the whole deal. Before we move on into this video, I would love for you to subscribe, check out my content, and just hit that subscribe button and hit the bell beside it so you can get notified about my videos. And without further ado, let's get right in. The first thing you want to do is you want to consider, which continent do I want to study in? Which continent do you want to study in? Do you want to study in Africa, or in Europe, or in North America, or South America, or Australia? You have to decide where you want to study. Then when you've decided where you want to study, you decide, okay, what major am I pursuing, and pick countries based on the major you're pursuing. So there are certain countries where it's better to study certain majors than in other countries. So you have to keep that in mind. And then when you've chosen, the best country for your major, the best major for your country, the best country for your major, then you decide, okay, where in this country do I want to go to? Which school do I want to go to? So while you're choosing the countries based on your major, you also have to keep in mind things like the culture, language, food, weather, all that stuff. If you pick a country, let's say you pick a country that is good in your major, but they don't speak English. Let's say you're an English speaking person and they don't speak English as their first language, then you're going to have a problem if you don't want to learn a new language. But if you're open to learning a new language, then you should be fine. But you also have to keep in mind all of that. So culture, food, language, weather, and stuff like that. So while choosing your major, while choosing the country based on the major you want to pursue, you have to also bear in mind all those other factors. And then when you finally decided which country you want to go to, you have to also consider the state that you want to go to. You decided you want to come to the US. Let's say you're coming from a country where you're used to public transportation being available everywhere. You won't want to come to a state like Texas, because honey, you have to have a car to move around this Texas. The bus system runs only in certain places in Texas, which is very weird. I don't know why, but that's what it is. So you have to know how to drive or have plans for a car if you plan on coming here. But there are other states in the US where public transport is everywhere. Iboku is everywhere, so you don't even have to have a car or anything. You don't even have to know how to drive, just be using the public transport every day. So you have to bear stuff like that in mind. Most importantly, you have to consider what it's going to be like to live in that state. So when you've chosen the state you want to go to, then you can now narrow down your search to school. So which school offers a better program than the other? Which school is more affordable? If money is a very big factor for you, then you want to look into which schools has much offers more scholarships and stuff like that. How easy is it to get scholarships in schools? Also, I forgot to mention, before choosing a country, you also have to consider the rules they have, like they've placed for international students. So do you want a country where international students are allowed to work off campus and on campus? You have to take that into consideration. Or if you don't mind not working off campus, or you don't even plan to work at all, then I guess you should be fine. But you also have to take into consideration all the palaver that they put international students through in each country. So you want to Google that and be familiar with it so that you won't be taken by surprise. Now, going back to finances, you also want to consider what is like living in each state, the cost of living in each state. So let's use the US for example. Living in Texas is not the same thing as living in California, because it is way different in terms of how much you pay for things and stuff. So the cost of living in Texas is relatively cheap as compared to California. Boy, you pay a whole lot of money in California, but in Texas it's quite cheap. You don't have to pay state taxes and stuff like that. But in California, boy oh boy, they do take a lot of, I think they take about 40 or 50% taxes. It is crazy. So you have to put all of that into consideration when you make your choice on which state you want to go to. Then you can decide on which school, and also keep in mind finances and stuff like that. Some schools in each state, they may offer the same major, but their tuition rates may be different. So it may be cheaper to go to one school than the other, even though they offer the same major and you are going through the same rigorous program and stuff like that. So you want to keep that in mind when you've chosen the country you want to go to and the state. Then you have to, you know, read up their requirements and stuff and know what you're required to do, know what their educational system is like, and the credit system. When I say credit system, like how well did credits transfer? Let's say you're coming from another school in your home country, how well will your credits transfer? Oh, I forgot to mention, when you're choosing a country based on finance, you have to consider the exchange rate between your country and that country's currency. So if you're going to somewhere like the US, you have to consider that. Let me use Nigeria as example now. The exchange rate for dollar to naira now is 360 naira to $1. Yeah, 360 naira to $1. So you have to consider that an international student pays about $40,000 per year in the US here. So convert that to naira, and you have to check your pocket and know what you're in for before make the final decision to apply here and stuff like that. The same thing goes for other countries. So if let's say you choose a country like Ukraine, the exchange rate between Nigeria and Ukraine, I think it's about 13 naira to one Ukrainian rupee or something. I'll find it. I forgot what they call Ukrainian currency. So there, and also international education there is really cheap in Ukraine. I think international students spend about $5,000 per year in Ukraine. You can definitely consider it's definitely cheaper, and so you can make your decisions based on that. That is what I have for you guys today. And you know, generally studying abroad is a very good experience. You get to meet new people, your way of thinking changes, just a whole nother experience. And if you're like me, if you like traveling, then studying abroad is, you know, definitely a very, very good decision to make. In the long run, is going to help you. I plan on like taking study abroad, like the one where you go for a short period of time and come back. I plan on doing that next year, but I'm not sure yet. But we'll see how that goes. I'll keep y'all updated. Thank you for watching today's video, and if you felt like you learned something new, please give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and leave comments, lovely wonderful comments below. And also, if you're an international student here, share your experiences. How did you come to decide country that you are studying in right now, and what was the biggest factor for you and stuff like that. So just share and let other people learn. You know, we're all helping each other here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I have for you guys today, and I'm going to see you in my next one. This is